Hey everyone, welcome to Sit with Shareen, where we sit in proximity to God and each other. And this week's topic, we're going to be talking about unexpected help. You know, the last couple years, we're coming up on 3 years of this pandemic, and I have never asked for help like I have in the last 3 years. Life has gotten crazy. Things have gotten wild. I've never asked for toilet paper from so many people or paper towels or anything like that. We all have kind of like our pandemic story. But I have decided early on that I was going to accept help. And if you have kids, you need more help than you possibly could think of and wrap your head around. And sometimes you just need help, just take a break. But the really awesome thing is that God has sent me unexpected people in unexpected ways to kind of help me along or help our family along. And the more that I prayed about what should this week's topic be, it kept coming back to me, just like the first sip of 2022 is just this unexpected things are going to happen, but unexpected help is also going to happen because God is going to send people your way. And I am just so thankful for that. I'm so thankful for the people that have come forward and helped me and my family. And I don't know, but it's one of those most humbling things because I am not a great receiver. I'll just be real honest. I am a doer for others. I like to do for others, but it's really hard for me to receive, if I'm being really honest. And so when unexpected help comes from people that just do it. They don't even ask, they just do it. Like one of my friends just, sent me a Starbucks gift card, or they sent me and my family dinner unexpectedly. Those unexpected things that nobody really expects them to happen, but when they happen, they just are such a blessing. And I just think that that is awesome, that God is such a good father that he can bless us in the most unexpected way, that sometimes it's like, God, I don't even know how you did that, but I'm so thankful that you did. And I'm so thankful that you send people in my life, in my path, in my family's life. And so I've just decided for 2022, I'm going to accept the help because I need it. And there's nothing wrong with accepting help. And I'm just so thankful for those of you that you know who you are, that have really helped and prayed with me and believed with me in so many different ways. But I, of course, always go back to the Bible of God, like, how do you want your people, your kids to know how you can help in unexpected ways? And there is an awesome story in the Bible, of course, where God shows up in an unexpected way through an unexpected source. So we're going to pick it up in 2 Kings chapter 5, and we're going to pick it up in verse 1 through 5. And it says, Naaman was a great man of valor. He was important to his master, who held him in highest esteem because it was by him God had given victory to him. A truly great man, but afflicted with a grievous skin disease. So he had leprosy. It so happened that he was raiding in Israel and captured a young girl who became a maiden and Naaman's wife. One day she said to her mistress, "Oh, if only my master could meet the prophet of Samaria, he would be healed of his skin disease." So this is a little girl who's captured and taken from Israel, and she finds in her heart grace for people that have captured her. And I think that this is really interesting because she's a child and she's speaking up to her mistress, but then she's also a female child. And again, women were viewed as property. And so that I find really interesting because Naaman actually listens to her. There seems to be some exchange between Naaman's wife and Naaman went straight to his master and reported what the girl from Israel had said. Well, then go, said his master, and I'll send a letter of introduction to the king of Israel. So I even, like, this is how I read my Bible. Like, what made him believe this little girl? Go to his master, and the master's like, sure, not a problem. I'll send a letter of introduction. Let me know how it goes. What? I wonder if Naaman was just so desperate and so plagued for years and years and years. And keep in mind, he had leprosy. He had some type of skin disease. So he was probably ostracized in some way, right? Although he was a mighty man and he was held in highest esteem, there's nothing like wanting to be healed and whole. We all know what that feels like. And so he's willing to even listen to a child. And so he packs up his things. His master sends a letter to the king of Israel. The king of Israel's freaking out. He's like, how am I possibly going to heal someone from a skin disease? How am I going to do this? Shreds his clothes, makes a big production, and the word gets out to the prophet Elijah. And that's where we're going to pick it up in verse 8. Elijah, the man of God, heard what happened to the king of Israel and was so distressed that he ripped his robes to shreds. He sent word to the king, why are you so upset? Ripping your robe like this, send him to me, so he'll learn that there's a prophet in Israel. So Naaman, with his horses and chariots, arrived in style and stopped at Elijah's door. In front of his tent, this huge production of style and valor and chariots and horses and men, I'm sure. And this is what I love. Elijah sent out a servant to meet him with this message. So Elijah doesn't even go to him. He's like, yo, I need a servant to go tell this man outside to do this very thing. And I'm sure we're going to get there. Oh, this is so good. So the servant goes out and says to Naaman, go to the river Jordan and immerse yourself 7 times. Your skin will be healed and you'll be as good as new. Just go wash in the river, come back, and you'll be good as new. But Naaman is so mad. He loses his temper. He turns on his heels, and he's basically saying, I could have done that, gone in other rivers, and been healed. He didn't even personally come out and meet me, call in the name of God, wave his hand over the disease, and get rid of the disease. Why did he not do that? I could have gone into other cleaner rivers of Israel. Why not bathe in them? I'd at least be clean. He stomped his feet and ran off. I'm sure he was pretty mad. This mighty man of valor who's already taken over Israel. And he's like, this prophet doesn't even come out. He sends a servant to give word and he wants me to go in this river. That doesn't even make sense. But that's what's so awesome about the story is that it's so unexpected. He's so used to the norm. And I love that God, that we don't live in this normal world, right? God has a different economy. The upside down kingdom of God does things differently, does things in the most unexpected way. And this is what happens. One of the servants goes to him and he's like, Father, if the prophet had asked you to do something hard and heroic, wouldn't you have done it? So why not this? Simply wash and be clean. So he did it. He went down and immersed himself in the Jordan River 7 times, following the orders of the holy man. His skin was healed. It was like the skin of a little baby. He was as good as new. And I love that it mentions that he was clean, but he was also, his skin was like a baby. It was like that child that was able to speak up, find grace for her master and say, I know how to help you. She could have been bitter, she could have been angry, but she didn't. She spoke up. And I love that Naaman, once he got over himself, right? Because pride comes before the fall. And he realizes, and I love what the servant says, like, if someone asked you to do something heroic, would you not have done it? And he's like, yeah, I would have, right? But there's not, God, it does something amazing in that when you humble yourself to do something so simple like cleaning yourself and accepting help in an unexpected way to just move. And sometimes we get in our own way where we are not going to accept the help, or we're going to be bitter ourselves and say, nobody helped me when I was going through X, Y, and Z. For that very reason, you should go and help someone that is going through that very simple thing, because you can share that testimony with them. And that's what's so awesome about this story, is that Naaman found and realized that there was a God of Israel, and he would serve that God for the rest of his life, which is so amazing. We have an opportunity to help one another. And I love that, because we can sit in proximity to God and each other to really help each other in a way that shoulders each other's burdens, because it's tough. Life is tough, but we can help one another. So I am just asking, will you help someone this week? Will you unexpectedly drop off a coffee, or, drop off dinner, or whatever it might be, to someone who's going through it? And for those that are not great receivers, receive the help. You never know how a blessing that could be for you, just to receive and say thank you. So as always, as we sip on this week, I hope that you live well and you live blessed.